This has been one of our most interesting transfer windows. For the first time, we have spent a transfer fee on not one, not two, but three players. We are signing Filipino wonder kids, and I've come back on the 12th of July for a very specific and very exciting reason that I will get into in a little bit. But first, let's talk new signings. So we are still on the 12th of July, which means there's still a long time before the new season. Again, I am coming back here for a very specific reason, and I am going to make a few more signings. But I want to talk about the strategy for this transfer window first so you can understand why I've signed the players that I have. So after last season, my focus has really been on improving our Filipino contingent. So I really want to make sure that we have a lot of Filipino depth. And what I've essentially done is I've gone to the Filipino national team here. I've gone to the national pool and the scouting and just looked at players in different positions who I could sign. So I included every single player and I went to reports, sorted by ability, sorted by potential ability, and just, all right, who are the players that I can sign? And subsequently, I've signed a number of players who I think can really help the squad. I think we only have one or two players who aren't Filipino at the moment who will be coming into the squad. But let's talk about our Filipino players first. First up, we have John Lucero, who we've signed for £25,000 from Kaya. And the reason I've signed Lucero is one, he's a three-star player who can play right back and center back, which I think is great. He has really solid physicals, and he was a player who really impressed me in the Southeast Asian Championships for the Philippines. And after that, I looked at him and thought, we need to sign this guy. We need improvements at fullback. We had Chung and Julian Matthews last year. Both of those players have left the club because I didn't feel like they were good enough to be re-signed. Julian Matthews was getting to the age where he was on the downhill, so I wanted to bring in younger and better players. And John Lucero seemed like that guy. He's one of the best fullbacks that we could afford who was Filipino, and he is a huge upgrade. Next up, we have brought in Pete Forosuelo, another player who we signed because of how I felt they were kind of on the fringes of the Philippines national team, and I felt like they could do a job for Mendiola. We have signed him from Thai side Rajpacha for £23,000. So once again, we've spent money to bring him in, but he had good average ratings in Thailand, so I think he's going to do well with us. He is a physically imposing player who's very similar to Justin Boss. In fact, I think he might even be a little bit better than Justin Boss looking at them here. So even though you see a lot of the blue sides for Boss here, like things that I'm looking at for a central defender, heading, similar, marking, similar, tackling, slightly in favor for Pete Forosuelo. Much better mentally and much better physically. I actually think he's a better player. My scouts or my coaches and scouts don't rate him as highly, but looking at his attribute spread, I think he's a better player. So I think this is a really good signing. We could even pair Forosuelo and Boss together in the Asian Champions League and see how that does. Continuing with the Filipino theme, we have brought in Frederick Bayan, who is genuinely a Filipino wonder kid. We have only brought him in on loan. And to be honest, I don't want to sign him because he's playing in Europe right now. I think he could move to a bigger club in Europe. So I just want to be part of his development because I think he's going to be a huge piece of the Philippines national team in the future. He has very high potential. He even has this 4 to 5 star potential when the Philippines national team is appraising him. So that means he could be as good as a Garrett Holtman in the future. He's only 17 years old. I played him in the recent friendlies. He's two caps and 2 goals, but I'll talk about the friendlies and our new Filipino players later. But I really like him. He's a 3.5 star player for the Philippines. Good finishing, good physicals, good off the ball movement. I think this is a player who's going to do really well for us. And my goal for him is to play him a lot and develop him. But we continue with the new Filipino signings with Julian Schwartzer. We signed him again for money. To be our new starting goalkeeper over Nelson Gossick. He was signed for £29,000 from Indonesia. He's a very good player. He did all right in the Indonesian leagues. He played this season, had a good rating, so I think he's going to do well for us. And again, He's just an upgrade from Nelson Gossick. It's as simple as that. He's better physically, slightly better mentally, similar technically, but I think the better aerial reach and command of area was a really big factor for me in getting him, and I like his rushing out as well. But I like that he's going to be a better presence in the box for us. Ultimately, he only wanted to be a backup. Nelson Gossick is also a backup, so it's not going to be a huge deal as far as playing in time is concerned. But this is our new starting goalkeeper. I think goalkeeper is a really important position to have a Filipino player in, and this is the best player we could get. Continuing with the Filipino theme, since we lost Chung and Julian Matthews, and I think I got rid of Matthew Nieras, we needed another backup fullback. Marco Casambro is our Filipino backup fullback. He's probably never going to play, but he's going to be on the bench for continental competition. We got him for free. Carlos Carrion is a player that we had last year. We had him on loan and then we signed him on a free afterwards. So again, improving the quality of depth in our Filipino players. He's also only 20 years old, so he could improve a little bit, and I like his attribute spread. But in a similar mode to Frederick Bayan, we have Joshua Albino here, a player who I've given 3 Filipino caps to, who I think is going to be a phenomenal player. He has high potential ability. He's already pretty good. But the important thing about Albino is we signed him on a free. This isn't a loan. This is a legit Filipino wonder kid that we've brought to Mendiola, who has all the makings of a good fullback. He has great physical attributes. Jumping reach and strength are a little bit low, but strength will certainly come on. But I like his pace, stamina, and anything that has to do with his pace. The mentals are coming through, and he already has decent tackling, good technique, good crossing and dribbling, so he can be a wingback on attack going forward. I am really excited to develop Joshua Albino because he is not just going to be a mainstay with Mendiola. He will be playing with the Philippines national team as well. I have one last actual signing to talk about, and this is the only non-Filipino player we have signed, and it is Tony here. And we have a good set of forwards now between Bayan, Jesus Mendoza, Tony, and Celso Jung, and an aging Berkabar Cisse who we won't resign after this year. On just £100 per week, he's super cheap. Tony's phenomenal. He has a great holy trinity. He has great jumping reach, solid pace, and great off the ball. Between Tony, Bayan, and Mendoza, we have 3 legit strikers. And the best part is we signed him on a free. We don't need to pay anything. And in Spain, he had 10 goals, 6 assists, and a 7.23 rating. He's only 18 years old. He has 5-star potential ability. We are truly getting in wonder kids. The other player I want to touch on is this guy, Martin. We currently have a bid for him for £750, and he is a left back. It's a position that we currently need. We don't have a whole lot of depth at left back. We just have Honorio there right now. But this guy is definitely better than Honorio. Looking at the two of them side by side, he is significantly better. I think he's better physically, he's better mentally, he is better technically, and he's 1 year younger than Honorio. This guy is going to be the future of Mendiola. He'll probably turn into our starting left back. There is one more signing again, and that is the must respond here, but we're going to get to that. But I want to talk a little bit about my plans tactically for the upcoming season. We have a number of forwards now who I absolutely love. We have Mendoza here. Just a reminder, this is what he looks like. He looks fantastic. We have Tony who can come in. We have Celso Jung who can come in. And of course, we have Frederick Bayan who will be playing most games because he's Filipino and I want to develop him. I also really love our wing options. Tegi, like every time I look at him, I can't believe we have this guy. He's so good. He needs to be playing every match. We have Kainoa Bailey as well, Yusan and Lawali in the middle. But because of our now attacking options, when we're playing in the Philippines Football League, I'm playing the 4-2-4. We're going to go very aggressive. I want 2 forwards because I think they're so good. But when we go back to our like Asian Champions League matches, we will be playing this formation. I haven't decided who's going to start up top yet. It could be Bayan, could be Tony. Bayan will certainly be on the bench if it's not him. But we will be going back to this formation. But when we're playing in the PFL, we're going to be super attacking, and I'm really excited to bring out this formation. I think we're going to score a lot of goals. We might allow a lot of goals, And actually, while I'm looking at this, they're going to be central defenders on defend, not no nonsense center backs. But I think we're going to score a lot of goals. We could allow a few goals, but I think it's going to be a wonderfully exciting and attacking formation. And the makeup of our squad now is looking a lot more of what I want our makeup to look like. We have a young team with a number of wonder kids, and a lot more of them are Filipino now. Like Bayan is Filipino, Albino is Filipino, Lucero is Filipino, and Nasan is Filipino. So we have a lot of wonder kids now with a little bit more potential. But we also have other guys who I think are really going to step in and do well. Like our players who are not Filipino, I think are true stars. I think Tegi is an absolute star. Tony, Mendoza are going to be stars. Lawali and Yuslan are absolute linchpins of this team. The only one who I'm like, about now is Arya Yousefi. We brought him in last year on a 1 year deal. We'll probably let him go after this year. He's a good player, but ultimately, I think we have better players at his position now. But looking again at the makeup of our squad, we have a lot of good players now, and we have a lot of players with potential who are going to grow with the squad, who I'm very excited about. But speaking of growing our squad, as I've been hinting throughout this video, I came back on July 12th, 2027 for this must respond notification because we have made an absolutely incredible signing. Think of all the best players in this say. We've put three GOATs into the Hall of Fame. And one of those GOATs is signing for Mendiola FC. That's right. Kenshiro Daniels, the man who scored 2 goals in the match against Uzbekistan to send the Philippines to the World Cup, is joining Mendiola FC. I'm not going to lie to you all. I have broken the wage budget a little bit. We're signing him on a 1 year deal because he is 32 years old. Hopefully, we'll be able to extend that contract maybe on a little bit less of a wage. But Kenshiro Daniels, who admittedly isn't as good as he used to be, but if we compare him to Kainoa Bailey, who was phenomenal last year, he is so good. He is so much better than Kainoa Bailey. He can play on both sides. I said last season we needed Filipinos in the forward areas. That was going to be a key position. We've brought in Frederick Bayon, and now we are bringing in one of the best Filipino players of this whole save. And I wanted you all to see this moment when we are bringing one of the GOATs, one of the Hall of Famers, to Mendiola FC. So I'm going to accept this deal. And Kenshiro Daniels, you are now a Mendiola player. And there it is. We have made an absolutely huge signing. And he was on a free transfer. He was out of contract. We have brought him in for free. And as a 4-star player, I'm probably going to play him out wide as an inside forward. But we have brought in Kenshiro Daniels. What a brilliant, brilliant signing. We're going to get Kempter to bringing in. But right now, our starting lineup looks a little bit different because I think Daniels is going to replace Bailey. We are going to have him as an inside forward on attack, and Kainoa Bailey will come onto the bench. And we have a very, very good side here. This is probably what our best starting lineup looks like right now. Other players who can come in is Furasuela could come in for Coutinho. John Lucero might come in for Ayub. And if we're able to sign Martin, who I'm going to do this contract deal with in a little bit, we will bring him in as a left back as well. But this team is looking very, very good. Now, I think this transfer strategy hopefully will work. We're improving our Filipino contingent, and I've been really kind of stingy about who the non-Filipino players I'm bringing in are. I'm really making sure that they're adding a lot of quality to the squad. We're looking at players like Gorotzetegi, like Tony and Jesus Mendoza, who I really think elevate our team. And I'm not just signing the best players I can bring in anymore. I've done that for a few seasons because I wanted to raise the level of Mendiola FC. But I think we're starting to get there. And I think I need to be instead of just kind of going gung ho, I think I need to be a little bit more deliberate with the transfer deals and making sure that the non Filipino players I'm bringing in are really at the level to where they're true stars in the squad, and that the Filipino players I'm bringing in are adding a lot of depth and that I'm really careful with the squad planning. That being said, Kenshiro Daniels is one of the players I'm most excited about, and I think he's going to bring a lot to our team. And the final bit of news that I have for you all is we have signed Martin for £750. And to add to our Wonder Kids, he's 4-star ability. He's going to be 5-star potential. And again, we saw him earlier. He is such a good fullback. And our team is looking set going into the new season. I am going to be focusing on unloading players. So there are a number of players, the Arda Chinkir, as much as I love players like John Ronsis and Arda Chinkir for what they've done for the club, I am going to be looking to unload them. Martin Garrido is another player I'm going to be looking to unload, and maybe some of the other fringe Filipino players who we don't really need anymore, including Miguel Carino and Michael Atienza. These are all players I'm going to be looking to unload just to help us with wage concerns so that we can potentially bring in a few new players. Currently, we're about £300 under the payroll per week. We still have 115K in transfer budget. So we do want to look to bring in potentially, or at least have the ability to bring in 1 or 2 more people if we need. But otherwise, that is what I have for this episode. It is exciting times ahead for Mendiola as I look to reshape the squad in a model that I think will allow us to be more successful in continental competition. We are so dominant in the league that we're not just looking for the best players anymore. We don't need to worry about the league so much. We really need to be looking at the Asian continental competition squad registration rules, and that we can only have 6 foreign players in the matchday squad. So we really need to focus on those roles. I think we're doing that in this transfer window. I think we're developing a more well-rounded and complete team. And I think this is a team. I don't know if we can compete in the Asian Champions League. The Asian Champions League is insane. But if we're ever back in the Confederation Cup, we're certainly going to be looking to win it. There is still a long way of preseason to go yet, so I'm going to complete the rest of preseason, and then we will be back for the first match away against United City and home to Stallion. And at that time, I will show you all the last few things that I did in this transfer window. We will play those 2 matches, and we will begin season 5 of the Mendiola Save. Thank you all for helping us to get here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very soon with our newest and very exciting signing. I hope you all are having a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves.